Can we do this in 3 minutes? We might be able to. If not, that's okay. We'll show it off next time. Whoops. Well, a well-fishing welcome to you, adventurer friend. You've worked your way to the fisherman's bottom. When you want fish just for a day, you could call it a culinarian, but we fishermen feast for life. I've set the bait. Think you're ready to bite? Hooray, hooray! Looks like we got a live one. Let me walk you through the life of a fisherman in Limsa Lominsa. Since we're surrounded by the seas, the fishing sites of a fisherman's delight. If you can't fish it here, you can't fish it anywhere. While some of us rope our fish with rods and reels, others skim the seabed with nets for creepy crawly critters. You might say we cast a wide net. People prowl about our pullers just about everywhere in Limsa. There's so much more I haven't mentioned. We shepherd the ships, preside over the ports, manage the mongers, and all while making sure not to leave any adventurers out to sea. I'll wager you prefer to work alone, so we'll start you off with a rod and reel. Now, you may not necessarily net the numbers net fishing yield, but pole fishing positively pulls prettier prizes. And it's not the long and short of it, but if you're ready for another bite of bait, I'll reel you in before the guildmaster. Spoken truly like a true bespoke fisherwoman. Well then, it's time for you to meet the guildmaster. But unfortunately, and somewhat ironically, our nefarious netmaster is out fishing at the moment. This moment, and every moment that is. So, Sissy Poo tends to lend tasks that require tending to, such as deciding whether or not you'll seek or swim in our guild. Sissy Poo presides over these pools. Whenever you decidedly decide to say hello, she might seem somewhat standoffish. I got that. But she's only keeping an eye out for sharks. Be yourself, and you have nothing to worry about. Yeah. Yes, save your breath. I heard every word between you and Numalika. So, I know she told you my role here. As she said, well, Alago's supposed to be the guildmaster, but apparently he's got bigger fish to fry. So all of his work falls to me. That includes making sure our new fish aren't shellfish, idiots, or potential anemones. Okay, you passed the first trial and not laughing to that awful joke, and now you need to only answer the right question. Are you prepared to fish like you've never fished before? Sure. Well, you're smarter than the majority of bottom dwellers that find their way here. Welcome to the guild. And now, this wouldn't be much of a guild if we sent you out to sea with only a pole and a prayer, so I suppose I could spare you a few pearls of wisdom. Nevertheless, you're going to need that pole and prayer so that I can at least provide you with a former. Here you go. One out of the two ain't bad. I'll even throw in these lugworms since you won't be getting far without bait. Rods we bestow upon our new fish are priceless objects, which is to say, they don't cost anything. Once you know what you're doing, you'll probably want a proper one. In the meantime, let's see if you can figure out how to hold your pole. Ready the one I gave you, and your lessons can begin. Fisher has been unlocked. Okay, readying your line. Like I mentioned, there is actually a lot of difference between... Yeah, I double checked. We're actually probably like incredibly late, but oh well. So I have like 3 pictures here. One for crafting, one for gathering, but then one for fishing. And you may think that that's kind of funny that we have one specifically for fishing when it comes to our setup. But I think it's actually kind of important. We're gonna need 2 spots. Just realized why. So there's 2 differences between the baits that we have. So lugworms right here is what I will refer to as organic. And what we're going to be grabbing in a second is what I'm going to be labeling as metallic. The two differences should be readily apparent as to why I say which. Organic tackles are used on every cast for every fish, because the fish eats the tackle. Metallic ones can be used multiple times. And unfortunately for the fish... Oh, it's still up right now. I'd actually probably do it. Versatile lure for 300. There we go. We're going to want to switch to fish. Going to want to switch that out. No, not an Arcanist. Oh, can we not actually do that? Okay. Yeah. Let's get rid of these stuff right here. Okay. So, you'll notice that we've actually added our fishing stuff to our gatherer's roles. So we have Fathom, which is right there. We have Shark Eye 1 and 2, which are the Lay of the Land 1 and 2. Fathom being for Prospect, and Truth of the Ocean is the same as Truth of the Mountains. Move that one. Oh, wait. Macros. Grab fish. There we go. Reassign set number, we're gonna go with 11. Dang it, Gladiator, why are you being weird? There we go. Update for that slot. There we go. One's updated, and Fisher, there we go. Okay, so fishing is kind of interesting. So let's just reapply what is here. We are going to roll all this stuff upwards. Like that. So we have Fathom right there. Shark Eyes right there. And then Truth of the Ocean's right there. Actions. We're going to put right up here bait. Cast. Sure, we'll just throw up light right there. Hook. Do we need quit? I don't think we need quit. Quit is the exact same thing as pressing Z effectively. So like when you go up and then you go to cast, you could just press and like interacting with stuff, you could just hit quit, or you could just like press Z to do that. Next, what we want to do. It doesn't actually look like we need to really deal with anything right now. I'll just set that for there. Gonna set that right there. Gonna set that right there. Timers. So we now have the fishing log and fishing guide that we've been setting onto our crafting and gathering stuff. The fish guide just shows all the fish. It will show you where the locations are, like there, and like if there's special attributes to them. The fishing log shows you fishing spots, which is the difference. And yes, okay. Gonna go patience 1, patience 2. Release list up here. Powerful and precision right there. And I think, no, right there. I think that's actually like all we really need to worry about right now. I'm going to just put Mooch 2 right there, and then I'm going to put those two up there so they're close to each other. Just so like my mind, when looking at the picture, doesn't freak out since I moved some stuff up here. Okay. So, fishing, relatively simple. Go up to any body of water. You hit the bait button, you select which tackle you want to go onto. It will be whichever one you set it for. Press 1, and throw it out there. This light button, you could like turn that on. I believe originally what happened was that you wouldn't see the exclamation marks up here above your head unless you had the light on, and I think they changed that. So all it does is give a little bit better of an indicator when things move. We're going to get snagging eventually, but it allows us to land heavier fish, effectively. We have the release list because we can release fish that we don't like. And we can actually like set which one's up or down, or like, no, whenever you see this fish, throw it out. Because I don't want it cluttering up my inventory. Speaking of inventory, we're actually going to start running into a problem where we keep getting fish. I believe we actually need, we need 5 anchovies entirely. So this character over here that I was looking at for a while, ooh, that was a large. You actually get more experience if you catch a large fish, which is pretty great. Let's see if we could do this now. Nope, we have to actively, like, wait to unlock ocean fishing. Ocean fishing is the best way to level up your fisher, which you could do what I did and find every single fishing spot in the world and start catching like everything in just this first screen, because like just these first 2 pages are just the stuff from the first expansion. Like it is actually impressive. There we go. Fisherman's Guild. There we go. You're looking quite formidable. Let's hope that you didn't scare all the fish away. Now, the first rule of fishing is to hold onto your rod, take care of your rod, and your rod will take care of you. Let me know if I'm going too fast for you. Since you're new here, we're going to start small. they don't come much smaller than anchovies. You find schools of anchovies swimming around outside in the Galadian Bay. So if you catch your meager supper without even... So you can catch your meager supper without walking 10 yalms. Anchovies are hardly the most cunning fish in the sea, making them an ideal first assignment. Simply bait the hook with some of those lugworms I gave you, dip it in the water, and the fish will practically catch themselves. Yeah, fishing is one of the classes that I honestly do not fault you for skipping, because there's a lot of stuff about it that you just don't want to do, and 100%ing the class means that you have to this, you know. But fishing is actually pretty pretty casual, you know. So you could just like, oh, I'm waiting for something to happen, so you could just like start fishing as you're waiting. There you go. No, not the Arcanist Guild. I want to go down. There we go. Oh, anchovies swim off the shore. Yeah, I got them. Here, Chovy, Chovy. Here, Chovy, Chovy. Fair flock of feisty fish you got, giddy guppy. Okay, you don't slip out of sight. Oh. Oh, it's you. Well, Lago, what do we owe thee pleasure? A guildmaster, gotta get after his guppies, dividing up the daily, drudgery, picking up a proper potable, and some such support and service. And who gets after the guildmaster? You have books to balance, you know. Books you should be balancing. I did my best to balance the books, but the bilge keel bent the bow back, bouncing the whole batch off the boat. That's not... You know it's just an expression. Well, that's neither here nor there. So as long as you keep at the bit, Blue, our books will balance themselves. Please do not use my name as part of the alliteration. Don't let that go to your head, of course. Any beginner that can snag some anchovies... Any beginner can snag some, but you'll need to experiment with different lures to explore new waters if you want to catch the big ones. Fundamentals are fine, but the fun in fishing is new finds. Like my uncle always said, fishing's like philandering. You never know what you'll catch. And with those well-spoken words of wisdom, we'll leave you to your wiles. Next fishing quest is at 5. There we go. There we go. 10 versatile lures. Jeez. Filsno has news that should interest any self-respecting fisher, no matter how seasoned. Should have actually just waited. Well, if it ain't Blue, you may have just taken up your rod, but anyone can see that you've got a keen eye of a fisherman. And I recommend that you're looking to make that eye keener still. Bigger fish, more exotic locales, and that's what we all seek, ain't it? And it just so happens that I can tell you how to find them. You see, the Fisherman's Guild had just finished connecting a fast boat equipped for voyages on the high seas. As far as I know, Captain Forzagril, Zagel is still looking for a band of fishermen adventurous enough to brave the deepest fishing hole of them all. If you think you got the stones for it, I'm sure he'll be glad to take you on. Okay, we'll do that in a second. Sissy Poo has a trial in mind for you. A I smell that you haven't been neglecting your duties. A commendable attitude. No one's ever gotten worse at anything by practicing. No one I know, at least. Then again, you can't expect the same old tricks to work with new fish. Big ones don't grow that way by chasing everything that wiggles on a hook. To catch the fish you want, you first want to know what the fish wants. Only once their prize is at stake can you tantalize and tempt your prey to taste the forbidden tackle. Anchovies may be willing to settle for lugworms, but harbor herring have a discerning palate that prefers pillbugs. But don't take my word for it. Go and see for yourself. Pick up some pillbugs from Sand Hill over in West Hawker's Alley. Use them to catch 3 local harbor herring. Like anchovies, they can be caught right outside. In case you have the mind to return to your previous spot, you should know that fish aren't as foolish as some might think. Keep casting your line in the same waters, and you'll find fewer folk that will take the bait. Yeah, so if you actually just drain an entire section, less and less small fish will be here. And sometimes rare fish will spawn because you've done that. And it's actually pretty great, you know? They actually set the whole thing up where it's like, oh yeah, if you have this certain bait on this certain time of day, and you've depleted all of the, if you depleted a lot of fish from this area, this fish will spawn. And I kind of just sigh and go, why is this so complicated? And their answer is, we made it complicated on purpose, just to annoy you. Harbor herrings, right. Just move all these down again. Yeah, I just went for the wrong one. Okay. Fieldcraft suppliers. Here we go. Purchase items, and here's all the fish. Or at least all the bait for it. They go like... No. They go all the way up to like level like 60, 30 stuff. Yep. No, there's 40 stuff in here. 50. There we go. But the thing is that you need to know what type of fish want what type of lures. So like we're just gonna grab like 10. Because for right now that's good enough. Bait, we're gonna switch over to pillbug. I'm gonna just use up all 10, which is gonna take a bit. Oh, we actually got that. Records. There we go. Different types of fish caught in different types of areas will actually update our biggest fish caught in certain areas aspect of the fish guide. Some people who are super completionists believe that you haven't truly 100% the game until you've actually gotten S rank on every single one of those, and I say that that's weird. Like this whole series is going to take a while. I have no compunction to go that hard. I probably won't even 100% the fishing guide, or crafting guide for that matter. Because at some point you are gonna, like, stop caring. Second as I double check something. Land. Yeah, we completed the level 10 quest, so we might as well... Oh, how big of a fish did we get? 1 second. A harbor herring that was 11.5 inches. Interesting. Oh my gosh, and also, like, keep track of how many times we've successfully caught a fish. So you'll notice that that was a, that was 2. And, we've been catching fish that have 1 exclamation mark above our head. That means that they are a fish with a weak jaw. For a powerful jaw, which is the 2, we actually need something else. We actually need slightly different strategies. And then there's 3 that are ferocious. And different setups will require different things. Right now we don't have the ability to use precise to add slack to our line, but that's okay because we don't really need to worry about that right now. That's like level 15 stuff. Yeah, so like I said, Fisher is probably going to be the last thing that we do for each expansion, because it just takes so long to do things. And I think I would just rather like slowly level up Fisher in the background. Okay, we have 3 left to catch 1 more harbor herring. Yeah, just fishing. Just fishing increases your just increases your stuff in it. So if you have time between things, just fishing up tiny fish is enough. But it's also important to try to catch new fish. And this is the last one, so we'll just do this really quickly. And there we go. Ooh, that was a new record. Neat. Oh, cool. We actually got enough coral butterfly to do that. Let me quickly switch to Alchemist. Fish glue? Yeah. Waste not. This switches over to a good condition, so we start going quality instead of sealing up progress. I actually doubled up on it. Let's see to do that. It means I can use veneration to get 50% more. And there we go. Just add 1 more to that. Recipes including this material, none, so we can chuck it. Recipes, none. No. Okay. So we could throw out the other 2 fish when we're done. There we go. Fossil. Fosgill. Oh, it's a fish pun. I don't know why I didn't realize that. Another daring soul to join our crew, eh? Let me be the first to welcome you to the Endeavor. Now, this isn't your regular fishing boat, and we'll sail where we please, holding only the course of wind provides us. Aye, that's the only way we see the unseen and know the unknown. Captain, Fosgill, if I may. The Endeavor is the guild's only ship of this magnitude, and if we, as you say, sail where only the wind pleases to take us, we may not ever return to this port. The guild may not look favorably upon such liberal use of its property. My apologies for foregoing this introduction. I'm Disctolta, sent from the Fishermen's Guild to oversee this venture. Why am I here when the ship already has a captain, you ask? Well, as you may already know, members of our trade, Master Bawalago and Captain Fosgill included, seem to have difficulty managing time. I suppose the concept becomes something of an afterthought when one becomes so focused on the water's surface. Regardless, I am here to ensure the ship adheres to its schedule, both by managing its finances and ensuring new crew members board smoothly. The Endeavor shall embark upon any number of predetermined routes, each of which have this port as their final destination. Rest assured, as you fail to join one voyage, the ship will return before long. The route we travel will be determined by our departure time, and you may speak with me if you wish to know the route before boarding. Pray bear in mind that we must keep to a strict schedule. We cannot take on more crew members after we have begun boarding. There is no such exceptions for this rule, even for captains. I hear you. When we board the ship, is when we get to some exciting part. Fishing. Here, take these lures. They're certain to attract something worth displaying on your wall, or at least worth eating. So we got that one versatile lure, and I guess we spent a little bit too much on it, but to be honest, we only need about like 5 on us at all times. So getting this additional 10 is pretty good. Should be enough to last one voyage at least. If you're looking for another kind of bait, you can buy it here on the docks or on the ship. Try to switch it up now and then, because if you only use the same type of bait, you're only going to keep catching the same kind of fish. And that ain't why we do this, is it? At least one thing. Well, Disctolta here may be in charge of the particulars on land. Once we're on the ship, it's my word that you'll heed. So when I say that we're fishing here or sailing here, I won't be having no objections. As long as we're clear on that, I believe we'll be bountiest fish for all. And with that, the Endeavor is yours to board. If you wish to enter the ship, or if you would like a more detailed explanation of what we do, you only need to ask. So 100 experience and 10 versatile lures that will effectively catch nearly every kind of fish. Let me see if I can actually catch that little bit again. It looks like it did not transfer over. Dang it. Oh, I guess people are coming back from the fishing. Okay. Sailing schedule. So as you can see, we go to several places. The Ruby route, takes us through Stormblood stuff, so There's no way for us to do it right now. But as you can see, it is currently 7:30. It takes about a half an hour to do each fishing expedition. And each one is like 2 hours away from each other. I think the one that... Yeah, and each one has like a different type of bait that it likes, depending on which order we're going in. You know? Yeah, so we'll deal with that later. I might even, like, in post, put me actually going on to a fishing expedition here to kind of show that off, but I do not believe that I will remember to do that at the time. The most important lures are sitting over here. So put those, set that over there. Okay. So, these versatile lures, we're actually going to sell not all 11 of them. I like how each one is like 1 to sell, but like cost 300 to get. Are these plump worms, krill, and ragworms? I have enough. I'm going to grab them right now just in case. These are the type of fish that you're going to be using, especially like when you actually know what you're doing. So I'm going to set those there, and then that, and then I'm going to grab of each of them, which is definitely not enough, but I do not have enough money to actually fully grab the full 100 of each that I need. I'm going to just set them right there for later. Gonna just leave that space empty, just in case. I actually do need some more dark matter, actually. I'm gonna just grab 10 more ones. There we go. Okay. So, with that done, we can now actually go back to the Fisherman's Guild and turn this stuff in. To be consistent with the other gathering class, we're going to go to level 10. But the crafting classes only need us to get to level 5 to get their secondary thing. Bring me 3 harbor herrings. There's nothing better than salted harbor herring. Say perhaps fried harbor herring. Or grilled. No, definitely salted. You know, in the yesteryears of my youth, I used to use every fish I yanked out to yield a bigger one. Good gamble when the game got gargantuan. I guess I got greedy. Where did you... Well, sometimes it's best to throw back the big ones. Good gods, what a guildmaster gotta do to garner a grain of gratitude? Acting respectable would be a start. Respectable? I sailed the seas and snared everything that swam in them. That would be an accomplishment, if by anything that swam in them you mean fish and not lady divers. All you ever brought back were stories about cruising the trollops. Do a little dance. Chauvinism is just a red herring. The harbor herring are what's important. Namely, the lesson of thinking from perspective that the fish are when selecting bait. In that regard, I can say that you truly have the mind of a fish. So, here's a treat. Some of it might seem like gibberish at first, but if you're gonna make some observations and jot down notes, eventually all will be gibberish. Well, take some time to study up and be careful not to fry your brain. You'll need it for your next lesson. Oh, they're just now telling me about the fishing log. Like I was supposed to Like I was supposed to access it now, of all times. Okay, we're gonna just put these crayfish, raw fish. We're gonna just put those right there. Oh right, I'm not level 10 yet. We can quickly go fish something. So as you can see right here, preceded bait for freshwater fishing. This one says ocean fishing. This one says can be used on land or at sea. Effective for luring small fish, medium-sized fish, and large fish. But that's specifically the currents of the Rolanto Sea. So if we actually do the Ruby Sea, we're gonna need a new set of 3 for small, medium, and large. So I guess we're gonna just keep using the lugworms, like kind of like grab all them out of our system. How much time is left in our experience? 3 minutes? Okay. It's a weird spot. I might actually move. I wish that there was a way to just move certain buffs to certain places. I might actually just bring that one up in the UI. How about HUD layout? Gonna take others. We're gonna take enhancements and we're gonna bring it down here. There we go. Now the other is on top, and the buffs that we did to ourselves are gonna be at the bottom where I don't really need to look at them too much. Good things come to the... Good things come to those who bait. Like, wait. Yeah, again, like I said, all you really have to do is, you don't even need to quit. All you have to do is just basically start walking away, and your character instantly puts the fishing rod away. There we go. Several recipes include the finger fish, and I believe several... Oh! Harbor herring, you can't actually do that either? Weird. Why'd you talk about it like I could? There's Wawallaga over there. Chuchuroon, can I actually sell stuff to you yet? No. Okay, you're just an NPC. Princess of the Fish. Oh, the Princess and the Fish. Like frog. For your next lesson, Sisipu will send you off into the wild. What's that in your eye, Blue? I know that glimmer. It's the eye of the fisher. The thrill of the bite, rising up to the challenge of our rival. You tried to sneak an Eye of the Tiger reference past me, but I caught it. You... Keep that spark alive, friend, and don't end up like Wawallaga. Not that I am worried about you. Oh yes, I can see it. There's a fire inside you, burning for fish. More fish, bigger fish, and it's about time that I feed that fire. Today is the day that you catch your first big one. No one forgets their first. Journey forth to the banks of the Nim in Middle Lenotia, and that you will find her, the Princess Trout. Take the princess and return here triumphant. Her Royal Highness has drawn the crayfish balls. Okay, so funny story about that. We don't have to. We could go up there and we could fish, or we can actually just teleport to the Hylian and buy some. But that would be cheating. That would be cheating. And I don't want to do that. Because I feel like, again, to do this properly, you do need to fish everywhere and you need to catch everything. And if you're skipping out, if you're skipping out on one of them, then you're liable to just start skipping out on everything. So one of the other ways to increase your level pretty quickly is to actually go around and find all of the fishing locations. It's very simple, but there's going to be certain places that you just can't do it yet because you haven't done the prerequisite mission to unlock certain things. Oh, hey, look, first one. I fished just a little bit more. Rogue River. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go here for Towler so I can actually catch it. We're gonna also cast off into the sea over here. I keep double checking to make sure that it's 15. Like somehow that it would change between them. There we go. Zephyr Drift added. Okay, so now that we've done all of that, we can turn in this Princess Trout. I honestly think that, like, your best bet when it comes to trying to min-max how much fish that you're able to fish and different areas that you're able to actually interact with, you might as well actually just level up purely through ocean fishing. And I even know certain people that have a, that actually, like, set timers for ocean fishing just so they can, get to it on time. And again, we would have to wait, like, another hour to do so, but I do not have an hour to do. Depending on your perspective, you've either rescued or abducted the princess. A prim and proper princess she is. We'll ready her as a royal roast and a feast fit for a king. The king can keep his fancy feast. Any fisherman worth her salt prefers her trout prepared simply. Said like a surly salty-mouthed sea hag. Hand her over here and heed how the cultured classes cook. A fine day will be when I take cultural lessons from you. Besides, I didn't send Blue out to that river to fish a fish for you. I sent her out to fish a fish for me. For my lesson, that is, of course, that was the purpose of the expedition. Anyway, you should have learned, catching a proper fish requires perseverance, plain and simple. And this plump princess trout can testify to that. Continue to apply the lessons I've taught you, and before you know it, you'll be swimming in fish. Doesn't that sound appetizing? Why do we have one of those? I'll just do that. There we go. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can adamantly say we're not touching this class for a while. Again, I'm probably going to do like some ocean fishing off in the background for a while, but I don't think we're actually going to be fully committing to doing Fisher until later. Again, the level is important. Your level indicates how likely you are to catch a fish. Your level and progress through the storyline indicates how many places that you can catch from. Because, like, let me just pull this up. Traits. Sky fishing allows you to cast your line into clouds. Salt fishing allows you to cast your line into salt lakes. Hell fishing allows you to cast your line into magma. All of these are all gained from either gaining a level or doing specific story quests. Like this dune fishing one is specifically from a quest line. So if you're trying to find a fish that is... Oh, they actually moved Gull-Eye down to level 15. That's nice. Instead of Auto Fathom is 61. Jeez. Instead of like... Yeah, because you have to like deliberately like go out of your way to make sure that you can catch certain fish. And that's fine. But it also means that you get stuck. And the gathering classes already have kind of a problem with finding a way to gatekeep you out of getting certain types of things. But either way, we've got, oddly enough, bigger fish to fry. Okay, so the other two crafting classes are right next to each other. Blacksmith and Armorer. And we could do both of them at the exact same time. Fortunately, we have to walk all the way across the aft castle to get to it. My headcanon for why there isn't a why there is a shared aetheryte between all of them. Well, honestly enough, it's directly because the area up here used to contain the original aetheryte before they moved it, you know, before they actually moved it downstairs to right here. But yeah, this is where the aetheryte used to be, and so it's a straight, more of a straight shot. So they just replaced it with a, this being like a big gathering places for whichever event is currently going on right now. Okay, here we are. Now, you might be wondering, why exactly are two guilds in the same place? They'll explain. I think what we want to do is we want to do Armorer first, and then start on Blacksmith. Sound of hammering bring you in from the streets, did it last? It's well that you find the din inviting, but Armorer's Guild is not the place for quiet reverie. If the clangor of metal striking metal is music to your ears, mayhap that you may have the spirit of a shipwright. If you are the mind to join our guild, take it from me, lass, there's no greater joy in working a shapeless lump of iron into a shining breastplate with your own hands. Say you then. Well said, lass. Now, we should cover a bit of guild history before forging ahead with the formalities. The armorer's craft is an offshoot of blacksmithing. Time was when armorers and smithies were one and the same. Oh, I should have actually done the other one then. But as the years trickled by, the techniques for working sheet metal into armor plates became a specialized trade. And the smithies who showed uncommon skill and passion for this trade earned themselves the title of armorer. Now, as you could imagine, the skills necessary for making armor are also needed for shipbuilding, but building ships are a bit harder than knocking out simple helms, which led to those armorers who were good enough to work on boats that claimed the title of shipwright. Of course, that was one thing calling armorers, blacksmiths, and shipwrights armorers, but that was quite another calling shipwrights blacksmiths. Cause building a ship ain't like making a hatchet. Couldn't be more different. Though it seemed a line needed drawing, and seeing as how Limsa Lominsa was built on the strength of her navy, you could imagine why armorers chose to cut ties with the smithies and establish a guild of their own. As for the smithies, the whole notion of an independent armorers guild didn't really sit well with them. And there's been an old rivalry between our two factions ever since. Always trying to outdo each other, we are. Which is why we're ever on the lookout for new talent to help us keep up the smithy bastards in their place. All you need to do is impress the Forge Master, and you can start with your training. Be warned, Forge Master Hanaz's tongue could strip the scales off of a fishback at 40 paces. Saying that, you won't find a fairer mistress this side of the Strait of Merlithor. Let me know when you've mustered the courage to speak with her, and I'll see to the rest. As you're blind in death, I assume you wandered into our forge without your own accord, drawn by the siren song of our smithy's hammering, no doubt. In these hallowed halls, Limsa's finest pounded metal into all manner of tools and weapons. And when I say Limsa's, I mean the whole bloody realms. Make no mistake, you need more than a big arm to join our ranks. If you got iron in your veins and a builder's blessing, speak up. Well, you're not short of confidence, but do you truly know what you're getting yourself into, lass? Ours is a trade born of blood and brine. Few as long pirates have sailed the Volanto, smithies have forged their weapons and fitted out their ships from keel to cannon. Of course, till sea swallows all ain't just an idle saying. Brine will eat through even the stoutest iron given time, and our forebears long struggled to forge more rust-resistant alloys. Lucky for us, the smithies of Eld were a determined bunch, and clever too. So when they learned that the kobolds knew something about advanced metallurgy, the smithies set out to make it their own. Thanks to the kobolds' wisdom, which they generously gifted us with only a mere hint of pirately prompting, Lominsan Smithin came on heaps and bounds. 'Twasn't long before the Gridanians and Oldans started eyeing our knowledge like we did the kobolds, though. And so, some 150-odd years ago, two particularly forward-thinking men named Theor Naldic and Price Vimelli had the bright idea of establishing a respectable business. Being fair-minded fellows, they'd sell their wares to anyone who had the coin, pirates and foreigners included, and when folk weren't inclined to pay, they were sure to remind them that they hadn't completely forsaken our pirating ways. Times have changed, though, and we're a wee bit more willing to share our wisdom these days. The company's been running the blacksmith and the armorers guild for years now, and welcoming any soul with the necessary talent and will to work. As to whether you've got enough of either, well, that's for the Forge Master to decide. Speak to me when you're ready to present yourself to him. Okay, So we now got ourselves armor and weaponsmithing. Let me just accept both of them for now, and we'll... which one should we do first? I honestly think that we should do smithing first. Oh, that's the spirit. And if you taken any longer to decide, I would have told you to bugger off no matter what you said. Can't have some half-arsed adventurer wasting Ford Master Berthael's precious time. See, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, and that's why me and the other lads have been taking a point of keeping... making a point of keeping idlers, imbeciles, and otherwise unqualified from getting in his way. And he wrote, it's time you went to pay your respects to the man. He's the one over yonder making a face like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Yeah, let's do smithing first. You'll see why. About time Randolph sent me a new recruit. It's been too long. I am Berthael, Forge Master of the Blacksmith Guild. If you're aiming to become a smithy worth the name, it would be my great pleasure to educate you in the finer points of the craft. Oh, the rest of these sour-faced bastards. Yeah, I'll tell you your hard, grueling work fit for the best and brightest. But I say, put a hammer in the hands of the willing, and we'll see what happens. What do you say then, lass? Will you swing the hammer for old Berthael? I knew you liked it the moment I set eyes on... yeah... What'd you say your name was again? Blue Cashmere. Name fit for a hero if I've ever heard one. In fact, I reckon I did hear it in a bard's voice once. Who's the poor sod cursing at his cups at the wench? It doesn't matter. Whether it's saving the world or cuckolding your husband, 'tis the time to forge yourself a new reputation. Pound out a new legend, and you can trust old Berthael to keep you to it. But there I go, putting the cart before the chocobo. Here, lass, take this cross-peen hammer, and a smithy without a hammer is like me without a drink. Bloody useless. But don't just stand there and gawping at her. Take her in your hands and have a few practice swings. Marry your fancy? She's yours now. And what I wouldn't give to be yours right now, lass. Smithy never forgets his first hammer. Blacksmith unlocked. Cool. Now let's unlock smithing. It's time to make yourself known to the Forge Master. That's no empty title, by the way. Hanaza is a renowned shipwright and one of the finest crafters in Limsa Lominsa. Head outside and you'll find her blistering in the skins of our newest initiates. Try to spin the camera instead of just like target onto something. Another aspiring armor, are you? Welcome, I am Hanaza, Forge Master of this guild. I take it Granako has explained to you the history of the nature of our craft? Good, I have little to add to that front. Save this. The life of an armor is not an easy one. Day after day you pit your flesh and blood against iron and flame, and without a passion for the forge, you will fail. But passion alone will not make an armor out of you. To truly master this craft, you will be possessed of a will as unyielding as the metals you work. Knowing what lies before you, have you the fortitude to persevere? I see that you have no fear of hard work. That is well. Consider your request to join the guild approved. But if you ever give me aught less than your best, I will put you out the door before you realize that my boot is connected with your backside. Are we clear on that? Good. Now that we understand each other, let us begin with the basics. What is your name? Blue? Very well, Blue. This tool is called a doming hammer. Doming hammer. Doming? Doming. Doming hammer. Here, grip it firmly. Note its weight. Let me know when you feel comfortable in your hand, and I'll tell you if you're holding it properly. Okay. So, a little bit of cute little lore things going on. like I kind of mentioned before, each different crafting and gathering thing uses different elements wisely. Like again, like wind and fire for like wheat and like all that type of stuff, and like it makes sense for like wait? No, this is goldsmithing, so it's like wind for the sand and fire for the heat of like melting things down to fine things. Cloth craft for the lightning of the forest, and the wind of for something like airy for like the breeze. Or like cooking has like fire and water, so for like boiling things, all the type of stuff. Things that you need for blacksmithing is earth and fire. Things for armor smithing is earth and ice. And I think that that's kind of cool, where it's like you're taking the ore and you're hardening it, or you are taking the ore and you're shaping it. And I think that that's really cool symbolism. Okay, so we have two very interesting classes that are crafting sets that are going to come into handy. So, first let's put on the cross-peen hammer. So we can do that. Gear set. Add. We are reassigning that to 2. Doming hammer. Setting that. 3. There we go. Macros. Blacksmith and armorer. There we go. Okay, so the biggest difference between blacksmithing and armor is effectively what we're going to be using it for. Yeah, let me just what was the actual setup? 1 second. Like, I always think I have it, and then I start doing it, and I'm like, no, didn't remember. Final Fantasy. We're gonna just put that right there. That, and then that. Is that what we need right now? Yeah, that's everything up to 50. Then we go to blacksmith, and we do the exact same thing. So I may, this may come as no shock at this point, but I really like crafting in games. One of my favorite aspects about games is a well-honed crafting system. Funny story. One of the things that someone I know didn't really appreciate me saying about it was that one of the reasons I didn't like The Last of Us is that I felt that its crafting system was incredibly boring. Like, they didn't really do anything interesting with the stuff that they had. And I feel like that's a shame. Okay. So, the interesting thing about... Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Can't click on things right now for some reason. Ugh. There we go. So, like I said, things that usually are flat or are armored, like shields and, you know, armor sets for paladins, and for fending and maiming sets are gonna probably be in armor. But the thing that armor is really good at are these little tool bits down here. Like, you can find some of them like rivets on this, but if you want things like plates, things like rings, things like honestly, like, you probably should be doing this for all your ingots as well. You're gonna want armor, and just like with cloth, gonna probably put a lot more time into it because it's stuff having to do with armor, and that's gonna be the stuff that starts wearing down a lot faster because you're gonna be sharing armor sets between the different classes, so that it's the stuff that's gonna get wear down the fastest. Meanwhile, most of the stuff that is inside the uh, the smithing crafting sets is all of the stuff that you can make at your is all the stuff that you can make for the different stuff. And I honestly would suggest, I'm probably going to do this off screen when I get the chance. I'm going to just start making stuff for everything up to like level 10 just from that, because like if we go back over to like Culinarian, we've got like basic stuff right here and it's fine, but like getting 4 extra craftsmanship and 2 extra control just because you put a little bit time and effort into making sure that you made a crafted version of the item is fundamental. Especially like because there's been certain points in which we have actually like where we were like one off from making the from making it, meaning that we had to take an entire another step just so that we can finish it. Now that we have at least 1 point in blacksmith and armoring, we can now start fixing all these things. Effectively, all that we have left is anything made out of wood and anything made out of leather, and that's fairly good. Okay, let's actually talk to them now. Let's go with blacksmith first. Oh wait, this isn't the one. Blacksmith first. We're gonna get to level 10 with blacksmith first. My first cross-peen hammer. Forge Master Patheo wishes to see how well you can handle it. Now there's a beautiful sight. Never forget, a smithy's hammer is her one true love. Friends will betray her, lovers will leave you, but your hammer will never leave you, do no wrong. God, standing you sing there is... reminds me of a less ale-sodden, more lady-shaped version of me younger self. By the way, one of the few NPCs that actually changes up their dialogue based off of your gender. Like, it's really fascinating. It's this guildmaster and Sorry, I was both yawning and thinking at the same time. The the Adventurers Guild assistant in Thanolin. Why am I forgetting her name right now? But onto your task. We ain't a congregation of soft-handed scholarlies here. Smithies learn by doing. Try your hand at making a bronze ingot. Any smithy worth their salt's got to master the fundamentals. And you can't get more fundamental than that. It ain't complicated. Bronze is just copper and tin melted down and mixed together. If you're needing, that's it. Copper and tin ore. And seeing that as most folk don't carry stuff like that around them without reason, Smidhammer outside can provide you with some. For a price, that is. What the lad can't sell you, though, is a fire shard that you'll need. It ain't complicated, but that means that it won't be easy. You'll need to melt the metals, after all, and you'll need to get them hotter than a bombard's backside. And that's all there is to it. Think you can handle it, lass? Yep. Do I actually have enough for it in my inventory? I do. I remembered to get 2 tin ore. Thank you, earlier me. Okay. You're alright, lass. Better than that, even. Sure you haven't done this before? Because, honestly, this ain't what I was expecting for an adventurer fresh off the street. I think you might be bleeding natural, lass. Don't worry, I've experienced with crafting certain things before. No, I just take the right balance of metals to produce bronze suitable for weapons and tools. But this ingot made me less. You've made me... But this ingot you've made me last. It's on par with them our veterans produce. You could be taking this down to Hawker's Alley and find a buyer in no time. Breega's watching over ye. Ain't got no doubt about it. You've got the town blast, then... But don't let it go to your head. I've seen plenty of folk get drunk on early success, only to puke their guts up because they forgot the town's worth bugger all without hard work and dedication. But I tell you what, keep it simple for now, lass. Practice the fundamentals till you can melt bronze in your sleep, and then when you gain that kind of confidence, you can come back with experience and I'll teach you something new. Okay, next level is at 5. Let's switch back over to armor. This one. Yes, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you were an armorer, Blue. Of course, I do know better. Until you craft something with that hammer of yours, you'll look like a bait with a rattle to me, and I've got no intention of mothering you. Make no mistake, I mean to shape you into an artisan, however hard I have to pound. Save your sweat for the forge, lass, and I expect you to fashion full suits of plate on your... I don't expect you to fashion full suits of plate on your first day. Just pay close attention to my instructions. Be diligent in your work, and the skill will come in due time. Now, let's be about your first lesson, shall we? I want you to take up your hammer and make me a bronze ingot. A mundane task, I grant you, but one which every armorer must master. Bronze, you see, is the most basic material to craft. Bronze ingots are its building blocks. 'Tis not the strongest of alloys, of course, and it is the very quality that makes bronze so easy to shape. And the metal of choice for a novice armorer. To forge your ingot, you'll need to procure 2 chunks of copper ore and a chunk of tin with an ice shard. The ore can be purchased from somewhere over at the guild. The ice shard you'll have to find on your own. Well, what are you waiting for? For me to swing your arm for you? Or perhaps you wait me to swing my boot. Yep, there you go. So let's pull this up, go over here. There's an ice shard for this one. It's the bronze ingot I asked you for. Here it is. Completed your first task, have you? Well, then I'll have a look at this ingot. So this is the sort of quality I can expect for you, is it? For a novice armor, it's excellent work. Excellent. Well done. The key to making good bronze is judging the ratio of copper to tin. With too much tin, the alloy becomes harder, but also more brittle. Not the sort of material you want protecting your vital organs. Lest you forget, quality is a matter of life or death in our craft. That's why we teach our initiates the ideal metallurgic composition of every item we forge. And it's not just that they are quick to, not all of that quick to learn. There are those who seem destined to produce mediocre results no matter how painstakingly the processes are explained. Thank the builder you are not one of them. I am pleased to say that your ingot would fetch a decent price on the markets. But do not let this first success make you complacent. A single bad helm will lose you more trust than 100 good ones. You will win because bad armor means dead men. It's not enough for your work to be good. It must needs be consistently good. And achieving that consistency requires discipline and long hours of crafting the same item over and over and over again. For you, this means a mountain of bronze ingots. Bronze ingots in your dreams, bronze ingots until you process, till the process is so great that you wake up with them, that your pillow is an ingot that you made in your sleep. And when you feel that you've learned all that you can from forging bronze, seek me out, and I'll find you something else to craft. May the builder guide your hand. Now, you may have noticed, because we've done several crafting classes so far, and we've done gathering classes before, at this point. Okay, I was just making sure that they're the same level. It'd be really awkward if they weren't. Is that every single time we go to craft something, they're surprised that we are doing it so well. Now, I'm not going to talk about story elements just yet, because the actual... Wait a second, I could auto-walk by just holding both of them down. Huh. I've never actually realized that that's an auto-walk type thing. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to go into story bits too much, but it's gonna become apparently clear to a lot of characters that whenever we, as a character, puts our mind to something, we are physically unable to be stopped. And it is oddly funny. Like, whenever it comes up. I'm gonna just sell all that stuff right there. Now... to keep in line, we do have to get to level 5 and then get both of those quest lines done. So what we're going to be doing is... Did we only get copper? What the heck? Is that we're going to be doing just enough to get armor, both armor and blacksmith up to... Yeah, up to the levels that we need. And then we're going to be doing the level 5s, because it's how we naturally would be getting our secondary item. But the funny thing is, now that we're actually using blacksmith, we could just make all the items ourselves. So we're going to be doing that really quickly. I'm going to take a slight break and I'll be right back. But we're going to be doing that. Okay, so we want to get to level 5. Not just because that's when the class is, but that's because where we get our quality increasing stuff. And I feel like, at the end of the day, it is more important for us right now to be... Yeah. It's more important for us right now to be getting that stuff squared away. We need to get this stuff squared away so we can start making everything else. Like, I'm already, like, at 3 hours out of a 2-hour live stream I was supposed to be doing. So, I'm gonna want to, like, end off as fast as possible. And I honestly think that once we do these two, I'm gonna just sign off for the day. So I don't know how much of all of this I'm going to be keeping. I'm definitely going to be trimming it down, like the second I get off. Is it 8? Nope, it's 9. Okay. So I was just 1 off, but that's not bad. Basic touch achieved. Okay, so we're gonna need to buy 8 more tin. There we go. Oh, we were doing armor. I thought we were doing blacksmithing first. I guess we did armor first. Forge Master Hazana seeks your assistance in fulfilling a customer's order. Ah, Blue, I take it that you are now intimate with every aspect of the bronze ingots production. Good. Then you could assist in a pressing matter. It seems that there is one of our younger members, Swithin, has accepted an order which he is struggling to fulfill, and thrice the time he promised. While I am tempted to let him squeal under the weight of his own ambition, the guild is not in the habit of delivering late. Several veteran armorers have volunteered their services, but I would also like you to assist in this matter. On the one hand, you'll be helping to spare the guild's unnecessary embarrassment, and on the other, you will be deepening your understanding of the craft. The builder will not have planned it better. For your part in this endeavor, you are to craft 3 bronze hoplons, and you'll need bronze plate and maple lumber to make the shields. While we're on the subject, you'll be needing to acquire... How will you be acquiring your materials? The market are a reliable source, but you have been considering making an arrangement with a miner or botanist. As you have gleaned, the craft calls for a near constant supply of copper and tin, both of which are commonly mined in the region of Thanalin. Should you peruse the Grow 2 light in your comfort, there is little to stop you from taking up a pickaxe yourself. For the time being, however, I want you to concentrate on honing your skills as an armorer. With the fundamentals under your belt, hoplons shouldn't prove too challenging, but do not fall into the trap of complacency. A poorly wrought shield is worse than no shield at all. Each piece you craft, however simple, must reflect the utmost attention to detail. Make the guild proud, Blue. Okay. So, we need to make 3 bronze hoplons, which requires 2 plate and 1 maple lumber each. So we need to go up here. We need to get 3 maple lumber. We then need to craft bronze plates, which each one take 2. So you've probably been able to do the math where it's like, oh, Cute. We actually just got exactly what we needed. Yes. Can put 3 points into our... I just realized that we hadn't upgraded our armor. 1 second. Let's put some shoes on. There we go. This is gonna go a lot better now. Yeah. Can we do it in 2? Yeah, we're definitely doing 2. Oh, barely not enough. Dang. I'm going with a craftsmanship one instead of yeah, we're increasing our progress instead of our quality with our food buff right now. That's 6 each. That's 6 in total. Okay, let's just keep making them then. Yeah, again, as you could tell, we clearly did not have enough to actually make it. I'm sure that we're going to be actually needing a few of these. How many do we have in need? So we need 2 more, so that's 4 in total, so we need 3 more. So we need to buy more tip. Sorry about that. Let's see. Update you with your task. Do you have those hop ones for me? Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Impressive. You've managed to balance the conflicting requirements of sturdiness and portability, much as you balanced hardness with malleability in your first task. The bronze plate is securely fitted and should weather the most vicious blows without becoming dislodged. And, importantly, your work was swift and sure. Many in armor have lost a sale due to a late delivery, and rightly so. A customer's need for armor is invariably pressing, and absence like to be sorely felt. Given the stakes, a reputation for reliability can mean handsome profits, especially at a time when the Maelstrom is seeking armors to outfit its ever-expanding ranks. It is all we can do to keep the pace with the Grand Company's orders. For equipment, and that is orders for equipment, and that's why every member of our guild must support the next, much as the Warriors of Eld supported their fellows in the phalanx of their shields. Though you have recently begun your training, a woman of your natural talents belongs on the front line. I think it's time has come for you to learn the use of another weapon in the armor's arsenal. Specifically, pliers. Take this pair and use them in combination with your hammer. It'll feel strange at first, but persistent, you'll find that your work proceeds a damn sight more smoothly, and you'll think that you've mastered the pliers. When you think you've mastered the pliers, I want to see the results of your dedication. Until then, Blue. Yep. Talking about his bonuses. I don't need to do anything with those, so just grab money. Can just equip the pliers now, but I'm going to be replacing them in a bit. Okay, and now with that, blacksmith, crafting, and we repeat the same thing we did last time. We're going to need another boost of that. Okay, let's just keep making them until we hit 5 again. Apparently being pulled to an Italian restaurant on Friday. Very, very interested. And last one. Back up. Switch gears. Well, switch gear, not gears. Isn't it weird that gear is an encompassing as a whole over one idea, but gears are individual pieces of a system. I thought that was funny, or at least interesting. Praise the builder, I was afraid you might have joined up with another crew. Don't worry, don't worry about what was behind the wall. The thought of it pained me so much. I was down at the wench till the morning bells I was. But here you are, still bringing with potential, and extra meat on your smithing arm. From my eyes don't deceive me. Something new, of course, how could I forget? Blue cashmere. I bid you craft 3 bronze crossbeam hammers, just like the ones all of our apprentice smithies use. Feel like you'll need the bronze, maple lumber, and hempen cloth. Now, I know making the bronze won't pose you no trouble, but allow me to offer you a bit of advice regarding the materials. If you want to save yourself some coin, you might consider mining your own copper and tin out in the wild. And if that don't tickle your fancy, you might consider whacking the old cobbler until it stops moving. And lug ore around with them, and if you see them swinging and as if swinging a sword, all that different from pounding a lump of metal in the shape, is it? At the end of the day, though, how about you go about getting your pieces don't matter to me. I just want to see if you can make a decent hammer. Do what needs doing, and then come back when it's done. Yeah, so he wants me to create 3 crossbeam hammers. But what we actually are going to be doing is we're going to be making 4. So this is actually why we probably should have done this one first. Because it would have actually saved us on some, but oh well. We still need to make like all these. So we need 4 maple lumber, and we need... Yeah, we need 4 maple lumber, and we need a grand total of 8 moko grass. Because why actually just buy it when we can make our own cloth, you know? Gonna need 4 maple lumber. There we go. Sell those. Are you the one that has moko grass? I think you might be. No, okay, we're gonna have to actually go all the way down to the market for that. But yeah, as you could probably tell, the more that we synergize with the different crafting stuff, the easier it becomes to craft different things. So think about this. If we have actually started in... if we had actually grabbed some of the stuff from all the places, we mined our own ore, we mined our own ore, we gathered up our own grass, we then switched over, we then botanized our own grass, we then turned those into yarn and thread using Weaver. We took the logs and we pressed them using Carpenter. Eventually we're gonna need some like clove oil or something to like oil things down with Alchemist, and then to preserve the amount of fire shards we have, we switch over to Armorer to make the like the rivets and like the to make rivets and plates that we then use for stuff. Like, all of these things start coming together in a very beautiful way. And it's why I honestly think that if you are doing anything with crafting, you eventually just become an omni-crafter. Like, it doesn't matter how much you don't want that to happen, it's going to happen. Because eventually you're going to be getting to a position where you're just like, well, I need to do this, and it's easier to buy the raw ingredients on the market than getting their upgraded stuff from the same market. Or from people that have already crafted it themselves. And it is kind of funny to say, but like, you are more reliable of a crafter than other people are. Even if they are like selling it and they're like trying to be helpful, you going out of your way to craft your own stuff is going to be fundamentally easier on you than actually just like dealing with someone else. This is honestly why I didn't like the crafting system in World of Warcraft, and it's actually why I didn't even like put anything into it, even though I probably should have when I was playing it, because it's like, no, you were limited to very few things at a time. And I'm like, why? In Guild Wars, it makes sense because they want you to have multiple characters and multiple classes doing multiple things. So they just expect you to have this sort of like weird crossover where it's like, with all of that kind of stuff. And that much makes sense, but like, World of Warcraft wants you to do the same thing, but it's not as interesting. Especially since you're... Okay, it's kind of the same thing now that I thought about it, but it's like, I was less interested in making new characters in World of Warcraft than I was in Guild Wars 2. And I didn't even do anything with crafting an Ion because I just kind of looked at it and went, nah, not feeling it. You know, someone actually like looked at my whole setup right here and said, you know, you could streamline it by just having 1 through 7 be your normal rotation and then just have everything else just not be there. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but like all of these things on my normal character are just melted away for me just doing these two over and over again, because this is like 1,000 to quality, 1,000 to progress, and then I just finish. Okay. To be honest, I don't know why I'm even like going ahead with the waste knot right now. I could just streamline it by doing this, then this, and then this. Much fewer steps. Okay. Now we're done with that. The game doesn't like the fact that that we can just switch between the classes. They want us to actually stand up from us crafting some stuff before we can switch out some things. Okay, crossbeam hammer. First things first, we're going to be using the high quality one to make sure this one's high quality. Dang it, what is this now? Oh my gosh. I keep getting sent stuff. See, didn't even need to worry about Master's Mend. Okay, crossbeam hammer done. Just replace. Oh. You can't. I'll just place down the armor chest for now. I thought it would just automatically replace the one we had, but then, like, as I was doing that, I'm like, wait, don't we have, like, the level 1 still? It's like, oh. Get on our better gloves. Okay. Hey, there we go. Look at all these people that are gonna make my computer explode. Computer's already overheating because I'm like at 3.5 hours of this stream. That again was only supposed to be 2 hours. Speaking of 2 hours, we can do the ocean fishing. I didn't even anticipate that we could do that. But we have actually, like, streamed long enough that we could actually do the ocean fishing right now. That is maybe a little fortuitous, you know? Yeah, so previous me, don't actually put in the ocean fishing thing. We're good as we are right now. Seems last time we're no fluke. There's some impressive work, lass. Now, a layman might look at this and just think that you stuck a piece of bronze on a maple stick and you've done a damn sight more than that, whether you know it or not. Hammer's a tool, and after all, the head's got to grip the shaft for tens of thousands of strikes. And what's more, when a smithy's pounding a red-hot piece of metal, her hammer takes up some heat as well and swells to the touch, which ain't no problem unless it's a poorly made piece of shite. See, take it from me, lass. There's few things more embarrassing than flinging a glowing hammerhead over your shoulder straight into the eye of your newest apprentice, even if you did eventually get his sight back. But I reckon your hammers won't lead to any incidents like that. In short, I'm happy for what you've done. Now I'll spare both of us the don't rest on your laurel speech. And it's all the same to you, starting the bleeding obvious. It's best done with a drink in your hand, I find. But well done, any road. So we end this. A hammer will suffice for a simple smithing, but complex job will call for more delicate touch. And if that's what it gives you, then one alongside your hammer will make your life a good deal easier, whatever you're crafting. Try smithing something simple. I guarantee that you'll see the difference. And when you're done with that, do it again. I want you to practice until you wield that file as well as your hammer. Once you got the hang of it, come back here for another task. Just gonna grab the gold. Okay. Now I've got done with all of that. I like how he gives us a file and almost acts like we're not going to immediately just make a new, better file. I don't know, I just find that kind of funny. Okay, back to Fisher. Go to the Arcanist Guild, because the Arcanist Guild is apparently actually kind of apt, but considering that they're basically the border security for the port. Makes sense that they're the place that you want to go to for both the like 3 different teleportation spots and ocean fishing. Yeah, it just makes sense. Frag worms, 15, 15, 15. That should be enough for now. Oh, wait. Nah, I don't need to pay that right now. Yeah, it looks like we're like the last stragglers that did not end up getting on the boat. There we go. Oh, 24. Right, because they pull it from the entire data center, not just our server. Come on. Come on. Nah, I'll just stay on the versatile lure. I'm gonna hope that someone in the that someone is going to be yelling out like what bait to switch to, because I do not have the cheat sheet up right now, and usually I do ocean fishing with someone that has the cheat sheet up, in which he just like looks over to me in game and he's like, "Hey, krill." Board the Endeavor in an unknown area, which basically means the sea. Now, you don't have to, but I do this weird thing for good luck where I progressively move further back onto the boat as it goes. So I start with the very front of the ship and just start catching. New fish? Okay. There we go. Let me just put that right there. So, as you can see from our voyage mission right now, we need to catch 13 crabs. Whoops. Dang it. I was pressing 1 instead of 2. Dang it. Yeah, so as you can see from our voyage missions, we need 13 crabs, we need 3-star fish, and we need ones with strong bite. We don't get down until 15, but we might actually be able to do that. Yeah, so as you can see, like, we've got several fish. Lady's cameo. And as you can see, there's like little symbols for like what type of fish it is. We've only caught one horseshoe, tortoise shell crab. I almost did it again. As you can tell, it's slightly boring, but it's really interesting. Yeah, I haven't like swapped out bait yet, but like I've already caught like 1 fugu and I've caught 2 crabs. 3 crabs. There we go. Again, not too many points, but then again, we weren't really going for... I'm trying to remember if crabs are considered large fish or medium fish. Printing on medium canvases. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna switch to krill to try to target the crabs. Because boxfish are on small canvases, and immediately we start catching boxfish. Great. There we go. Now we're at level 13. Again, this is the best way to, this is, in fact, the best way to get fishing experience. Dang it, wrong one. Okay, we're at 5 out of 13 so far, so that's pretty good. Only got about like 2 minutes left of this section, but it looks like that we're doing pretty good when it comes to our catch rates of crabs. So we should be able to actually get that voyage mission done. Dang it. Interesting. Okay, I can't actually move where the voyage mission is. It's a little inconvenient. How much krill do I have? 19 left? That's okay. Only got 1 minute left here. An aura of violent menace rises from the depths. You have thinned the population. Once I actually unlock the release list, I might actually just, like... Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna shift back to... Replenish my krill. There we go. I like how everyone on the ship is like posing and doing stuff. It's actually kind of funny. Because if you're in with friends, your location is static. But everyone else's on the ship is randomized. I don't think I've ever noticed that part is like just floating up there. Why is it floating up there? The Northern Strait of Malifaux. Might as well keep going for krill. A net crawler. Ugh. Sea spiders. I haven't really got too many strong bites, but it's because I'm also aiming for, like, middle of the road, the small fish. Ooh! So, spectral currents are really neat because they speed up your time between catching fish. Oh, there's one. The Gigurosaurus. Oh! That is my current heaviest fish that I've caught in deep water. A prowler. Come on, I only need one more rank. There we go. I just got patience. Patience allows us to use numbers 3 and 4. You use red for 2, and you use green for 1. So many things are overlapping. Getting so many points. Unfortunately, the ferocious biting ones do not count as as strong bites, but I can grab them with the strong bite ability. Gonna go with something a little bit more heavy. Dang it, we're out of GP like at the last second, so there's no way we're gonna be able to get certain things again. Oh, I didn't even notice that the lobster that we caught earlier was 3-star. That's cool. Coco Cestus. Okay, we're out. I'm gonna switch back to krill so we can try to catch more crabs. We're very close to getting all the crabs we need. We spotted dolphins around our ship. Oh my gosh! If we somehow get a so if you see there they are. Ocean Stone. If you see dolphins around, they are likely to they're likely to bring the mega squid. They're likely to bring GP regeneration is increased while they're here. And you're more than likely to get one of those spectral streams again. But I think you could only get one per section of the journey. That's medium. Okay. Keep getting mega squids. Why? That's a new fish. Oh, it doesn't have anything on it. It's just large. Okay, this is the last cast. So once it hits 20, we basically can't put it back into the water. Right? Yep. Okay. Krill, we want to actually buy 20 of it this time so we can replenish. We couldn't buy more plump worms. I haven't seen that setup before. That was neat. Okay, it's nighttime. Someone's doing squats on the, over there. Okay, we made it back around to, abandoned shoreline. So it's like... Oh, we ended up getting Thalic's Favor at 15 as well. Thaliac. Ooh, a 3. Please catch. Whoops. I do like how they actually say who got up the spectral current. That's pretty cool. Wait, that's not a piece of seafood. And now we're at level 19. We came into here, like, below level 13. Are we actually going to get 5,000 on our first go? Jeez. Dang it, I grabbed the wrong one again. Could be getting so many more if I wasn't messing it up so many times. So I've got a little bit under 4. Star the Destroyer, what? Okay, we're definitely on the right one because we're getting crabs again. We might actually be a little bit too far away to get either of them. Also, I'm completely forgetting that I have a Thalic's Favor, of course. True Scad. They gave me nothing for that. How rude. Average size Scad. A large Star Destroyer is only 28 points. Jeez. What am I doing with my life? Oh, small campuses. What? Thallic Crab for small. Yeah. So we should have been doing small this whole time. I just need to catch 3 more in a minute. Come on. No, stop giving me starfish. That was oddly fast. Okay, we got another crab. We just need 2 more. Get out of here, Scad. Like one level away from getting the release list. Get Scad, get out of here. Oh wait, it's not gonna stop me from actually like catching the fish. Jeez, I completely mismanaged my time by clicking on that. Come on. Come on, give me the crab. Please be the crab. Please be the crab. No, it's a new fish, so I can't be upset. I can't be upset because that was a new fish, but like... So we actually did identify a lot of fish in that. We actually did pretty well. Pluratory man puking on the, off the side. Someone ended up getting the mount, so that's pretty cool. But did I? Yes, I did. I'm so happy I got 6,000 on my first go. I could have been using better stuff this whole time, jeez. Yeet! Reward. Look at all these fish. Basically have no use. Yeah, look, they sell for practically nothing. Oh, purchase items. We want to get 37 of this, 31 of this, 32 of this. That's a lot to get 50 of each, but it means that we're going to be spending less when we actually get out there. Next time we do this. And there we go. Everyone's just like extracting their materia that they accrued. Okay. I feel that this has been a very eventful evening, even if I don't end up editing like any of that out. Like, it's pretty eventful either way. We got to about like 4 hours of doing a bunch of stuff, so there's that. Still running low on money at every turn, but hey. But hey. Yeah. So, I'll see y'all next time. This was very eventful. We did a lot. like, look at this. We started out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fish. Like, we found a lot of fish. This time, how many fish have we actually, like, discovered? 1 second. Should be all the way down here. Catch? No. Record 160 unique fish. We went from, like, 7 to 32. That's impressive. Well, either way, I'll see all y'all later. I'm gonna level... I'm gonna level blacksmith and armor up a bit. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna make sure that all of them are sufficiently leveled by the time we leave. So when I come in next week, I'm going to be on my way out to Gridania. So no more Limsa. Even though I want to do ocean fishing, I have my own ocean fishing on my actual character to do. Either way, we've got to go because it's late for me. See all y'all later. Goodbye.